Welcome into the Tuesday edition of the Top 5. I'm Paul Catalina. I know the rankings are coming up later tonight, and you'll all be glued to that. But here's a little bit of prediction of teams who could coast to the playoffs based on their remaining schedule. Also brought to you by Texas Beef House. Our promo code, 365sports. Go to bidonbeef.com for the next auction. Make sure you use that code for a discount. Number 5, Oregon, the number 1 team in the country, has played a pretty decent schedule when you consider that Boise State was in there, Ohio State's in there, but the last 3 they have, Maryland, Wisconsin, Washington, those should all be wins for the Ducks, and they, already have room to take a loss, but 3 wins, and then you're in the Big Ten championship game. It won't even matter if you're undefeated in the regular season in the Big Ten and go to the championship game. So Oregon, pretty clear path to winning the last 3 in the regular season and into the playoff regardless of what happens in the Big Ten championship game. Number 4, Miami. Oh, that's a little pixelated, but they're dancing. They're having a good time. Miami has Georgia Tech, who did beat them last year, and they've played a little fast and loose. Wake Forest and Syracuse. Now, Syracuse can jump up and bite you. Georgia Tech can jump up and bite you. But the way that Miami's been playing, this should be 3 wins and into the ACC title game, where they'll probably, at this point, face SMU in a game I cannot wait for. I think that would be fantastic for the Ponies to get into the ACC championship in their first year with a chance to take down Miami, who hasn't won the ACC since they've been in it. And if they were able to take down Miami, a team that hasn't won the ACC since they've been in it, in their first year, I would love that. But Miami, very good. Cam Ward ripping it up. Nobody talks about Xavier Restrepo enough nationally. He is awesome. He's amazing. He's fantastic. Number 3, Penn State took the loss to Ohio State. What else is new this past weekend? But their schedule on down the stretch is Wisconsin, Purdue, Maryland, and Minnesota, and then Maryland. Now, Minnesota is pretty good. Washington, Purdue, Maryland, shouldn't have to worry about them. So, Penn State's probably going to find their way into the playoff, even without being in the Big Ten championship game, which we can go into a long diatribe about how even a 1-loss Penn State might not be as deserving as some of the others because their schedule overall not that great this year, and the team that they had to beat to prove that they were legit, Ohio State, they lost to once again. So what do you think's going to happen when this team coasts into the playoffs? They're probably going to lose in the first round. James Franklin's record says it all. Number 2, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Now, looking at their schedule at the beginning of the year, you would have figured that Florida State and USC, who they have Florida State this week, they have USC to end the season, would be their toughest games on the way out. No and no. As a matter of fact, Florida State will be probably their easiest game on the way out. Virginia is next up after that. Then a tough one, a really tough one in Army, but that's one that they've usually controlled, and they've already beaten Navy this year, who runs the same kind of offense, and beat them very, very badly. So Notre Dame in the driver's seat to make the playoff, and they have more wiggle room than anyone going in because they're not in the conference. Life is good for the Catholics in Indiana right now. Number 1, Boise State. Down the stretch, the Fighting Genties have Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, and Oregon State. Those are all teams I do not think can stop this man. Or, if Maddox Madsen is really hot, stop him either. This is a team that gets better and better each week. They're very lethal. Do not mess with Boise State. I would not be surprised to see Boise State not only get into the playoff, but win their first game, especially if it's against Penn State. That is the top 5. I'm Paul Catalina. Adios. And I'll let the other 2 say goodbye right now.